Hello everyone, Dave here again, and today I'm going to be showing off and giving you my thoughts on the Vaesen Game Master screen. I've actually had this for a little while now, and I haven't even taken a look at it yet. Like, this is still in its original, like plastic and everything. And I've had this, gosh, I can't remember. Well, I got it when I got the starter sets and stuff like that for next year's King Con, so... yeah, I've had it for at least a month, if not a month and a half, maybe a little bit longer. So it's well past time that we take a look and see what we have here. So first of all, we got like the artwork on the front with the barcode. So this is just a piece of paper that goes over top. Although it does look like there is a map included as well, and it does say that there is a double-sided poster map featuring the beautiful map of the Mythic North setting on one side and the town of Uppsala on the other. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive into this. So this is something that I will be needing because, like I said, in about a year's time, I will be running this at I'll be running this at KingCon. So I'm looking forward to that. And so I just stuck the blade in the little gap there, and hopefully that'll be enough to get me started, because I don't want to damage anything. All right. So there we go. That is the plastic off, which we're just gonna put in our little garbage can down here, which I really need to empty out there. I just don't want to put it on the floor because sometimes our puppy does make her way down here. So again, this should just be a piece of paper. Although I don't know if it's just me, but I do keep these for most of my screens. Unless something like really bad happens to them, I just throw it inside the starter set box. I don't know if anybody else is like that or not, if it's just like a weird thing that I do. It's like a weird collector thing, I think. We'll set the screen aside for now. We'll take a look at the map here first. So this is the Mythic North. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it quite all on camera here, so maybe what we'll do is we'll take a look at the bottom half and then the top half there. So really cool. And then this is the starting town of Uppsala. I hope I said that right. Uppsala. So yeah, pretty cool. Like, there's the major locations there, and then there's like residences and stuff like that. So this is sort of like the main starting area, even in the like the default core rule book and the what was it, A Wicked Secret, I think it was. It was one of the adventure compilation books that came out. I think that started, like, that was their sort of like the main setting there. So it's cool to have that. It's cool to have that map. And it's always nice when the screen comes with a little something extra. And like I said, I took advantage of the spring or the summer savings or the summer sale for this one. So let's take a look at the art side of the screen first. It's just gonna be the same artwork that was on the page there with the barcode. But it's still pretty cool. You've got like the lady of the lake or whatever, I don't know, like a water nymph or whatever it's supposed to be, just kind of peeking its head out, looking kind of menacing. So it's kind of cool to see. Like, this is some really nice artwork, which I think is on the starter set as well, but wasn't on like the core rulebook or anything. So it's kind of nice that the screen doesn't look like just the core rulebook like some ones do. All right, and then well, I guess I don't think there's too many that actually do. I know the Alien second edition was going to look like the core rulebook. It was going to have the same artwork, but one of the stretch goals was to make it look like Mother. So maybe I'm just imagining the wrong things. But anyway, so we got on the information on the screen here, we got the mystery step-by-step. So we got the prologue, invitation, preparations, journey, arrival, places, confrontation, and aftermath. Question of experience points. So this again sort of works similar to like the questionnaire that you answer at the end of, I think this even works at the end of like the Alien campaign play, where you like ask so many questions, and if you can answer yes, you can get like experience points towards things to improve your abilities and things along those lines. We got the list of different skills. Difficulty, so this is the number of successes needed for certain tasks. So again, this is a D6 dice pool system, similar to Alien, similar to, I think I showed The Walking Dead on this channel before. It comes from Mutant Year Zero. It's called the Year Zero engine, where you have an attribute and you have skills, and you would add the two numbers together to determine how many d6 you roll. And normally, if you roll, like, say, you have 3 for your stat and 2 for your skill, you roll 5 dice. Ordinarily, if you roll a single success, like a single 6 on all of those dice, then it's considered to be a success. But here, they actually make challenges more difficult. So you might need, 2, or you might need 3. So this might involve you needing to sort of like push the roll type of thing. So that's kind of cool to see. And then there's the fear values. So you see something scary, which is like be a Vaesen or a bloody corpse, something terrible, a werewolf, or, dead young ones. Unbearable, a mass grave, or tied up and subjected to serious violence. So it's been a while since I've looked at the Vaesen rules, so I don't exactly remember how fear works. I can't remember if it's like another type of damage, like you've got like a physical and a mental endurance type of thing. I'd have to look that up again. And like I said, it's been a while. I think the last time I looked at the Vaesen rules was when I got the books initially sent to me by Free League. They sent me the core rules, then they sent me A Wicked Secret, and then I've basically purchased everything else since then. I think I've got the complete collection at this point, but I do forget exactly how fear works. I don't think it's the same as like stress, because you only have the one set of dice that you use in Vaesen. So if anybody knows off the top, let me know. Otherwise I'll look it up in the rule book there. We got some animals here, so some stats for them. We've got their might, body control, toughness, and damage, just for some common things that you might encounter, especially if you're going into like the wilderness. So bears, badgers, dogs, wolverines, reindeer, fox, wolf, wild boar, the majestic moose, and the eagle. Main skills for NPCs. So the number of dice equals skill plus attributes. So if they're a novice or something, they have 4 to 5 dice. Skill to 6 to 7, competence 7 to 8, or expert or 9 to 10. NPCs. Okay, yeah, mental toughness. Okay, so physical toughness of 1 for a minor NPC, 2 for a named NPC, and for a unique NPC, it would be a 3, and then their mental toughness is the same kind of number there. And then we've got typical slow action, so we have our actions in combat. So slow action, so you get 1 fast action, 1 slow action. So a lot of the fast actions are kind of like movement stuff, and like your main like attack options would be in the slow action. So attack with a melee weapon, or with a ranged weapon, with unarmed force, to wrestle, push, or grapple, to flee, persuade, lure an enemy, perform a ritual, often takes several turns, survey the situation, treat injuries, or climb a wall are considered slow actions. And the typical fast actions: draw, swap a weapon, stand up. Oh, I know there's glare on here, I apologize. Dodge, parry, break free, hold, chase, resist magic, shout more than a few words, turn around, close the door, put out a candle, move within a zone, move it to the next zone, or take cover. Cheat sheet for medical care. So to treat a critical injury takes a turn. So I think turns in this one there's turn scenes and days. So I want to say that the turn is like a round, or maybe a little bit more than a round, and then you got like 5 to 10 minutes, you've got 5 to 10 hours, I think, and then there's like the entire day. So to treat a critical injury, takes turn to treat a broken character with medicine or inspiration. Each extra success heals additional condition. Heal physical conditions. Use medicine in a safe location. Heal 3 conditions per success. Heal mental conditions. Use inspiration in a safe space while having close dialogue to heal 3 conditions per success for someone else. and then to rest. So that takes the scene, so you just sort of rest for a few hours. Describe a scene together with one or several other PCs to recover from 2 conditions, except for broken, once per day. And then services, use resources to describe a scene where you, alone or with friends, receive medical services. And then we got our armor table here. So light armor, medium armor, and heavy armor. Again, this is not a fantasy RPG, so you're probably not going to be using a ton of armor, I would suggest, like all the time. But it gives you protection values, and then you have your agility penalties and how available it is. Cover information, so if you duck behind furniture, a wooden door, a hill, or a house wall. And then we've got enchantment. I'm not going to go through the entire list of enchantments, curses, or trollcraft. But there's some cool stuff in here, and I think, again, useful information on the screen overall. So yeah, I think this is a really well put together screen. Like, it has all the stuff on there that I think you would really want. Like the enchantment, curses, and the trollcraft stuff, I think is really cool to have, because that's stuff that may come up, throughout the course of the game. The action types are always good to have. The skill list, I cannot tell you how important it is to have the skill list here, and each skill has its attribute attached to it. Especially in a game like this, where you're using skill checks all the time. It's really nice to know which ones you should be rolling for, or which ones are even available if somebody asks to do something, right? As the GM, I really appreciate just being able to have this list at a quick glance, because there's other games with other screens where they don't put the skills on there. And number one, the skill names change all the friggin' time. So there are times where I'll call for diplomacy, right? But like, that's not the skill name anymore. So having like the list there is actually, I think, really, really important. And just having all this information here, I think they put together a really solid screen. I don't think there's anything on here that I would consider to be particular waste on here. Being able to, again, like the skills for NPCs, might want to determine what they are, right? But to know just how many dice you should be rolling without having to try to stat them out, that is huge for, that's really big for, like, improvisation. If the players take you in a direction that you're not kind of expecting, then this can be a really handy thing to have here as well. And, so I think, overall, they did a really solid job with this screen. It's a nice, thick, sturdy stock. The only thing that I'm not the biggest fan of, although this one's not too bad, because it folds. No, it doesn't. Never mind. The only thing I'm not the biggest fan of are the 3-panel screens. I do prefer a 4-panel screen, because I find with the 3 panels, they tend to, like, for example, this was actually that sits pretty well. That's not too bad. I'm running Dragon Age right now, and the 3-panel screen for that one, it doesn't feel like it sits well enough, because this one, like, it wants to kind of swing out. So I think that they actually put this together really, really well, because it's not trying to, like, use, like, muscle memory to get back into, like, its default position. So yeah, I think that's not too bad. But again, with the 4-panel screen, it's a little bit wider, so you've got more room for, like, your notes and your books and your dice and stuff like that. Although with this one, again, I don't see me using, like, miniatures, because one of the things that I do with my other games is if I use minis in combat, and I'll have them sort of prepared behind the screen, but the 3-panel screens, it's hard to have room for those, and my books, and my dice, and my notes, and all that stuff, and have it still be, like, hidden from players', wandering gazes. So, but yeah, this is actually, it sits really well, so that's actually quite nice. It's something I probably should be doing, like, tests for, especially with the 3-panel screens, in the future, is kind of how they stand up. And, it even feels... Yeah, it even feels sturdy when it's kind of spread out, so that actually might not be too bad. But I do wish that they would make them as 4-panel screens instead. Even if they just did something like include... Well, no, that's not going... Okay, hold on. Oh, that's why. Okay, that's why. All right. That explains why it sits so well, because it folds in. That's actually a really nice design. That is a really, really nice design. I can't tell you how many times I've had my Dragon Age screen fall over. Especially because I'm trying to, like, use it to hide, a bunch of stuff. Like, I don't want them to see what minis I'm using. So that's actually a really nice design, a really nice screen. And yeah, I think it's probably one of the nicest 3-panel screens I've ever looked at. So yeah, Free League did get a pretty big win there. And again, it does come with the map of the default setting, the Mythic North. And yeah, if you're into Vaesen, I would suggest if you're going to be running the game, then this would be a pretty handy pickup for you. It should be available on Free League's website, and if not, you can inquire about it at your local game store. If they have it in stock, great. If not, they should be able to custom order it in. But yeah, overall, I give this a pretty hearty recommendation. The DM side or the GM side is filled with useful information. And yeah, it's actually really well put together. Like I really like how sturdy the screen feels. It doesn't. I'm not as worried about this one falling over on me. So really, really fantastic stuff there. Anyway, thank you all so very much for your time. I appreciate it. And we will see you in the next one. Until then, take care.